name is Kimberly Johnston, and I'm the owner and director of Family Court GPS. And the GPS really helps understand what we do. We help people strategically navigate through the civil court system and the procedures. We're not attorneys, so we don't litigate. What we do is we are basically the Rosetta Stone of legalese. There is a lot of things that people don't know. Even if they have an attorney, they get nervous, they don't ask questions, they don't know how to present their own wishes, their own needs, wants, concerns, and confusions to their team. So what we do is we help coach them on the back end through a variety of different exercises before they walk into their attorney's office. So that way, they're more apt to get what they want. How many times do we hear people say, yeah, I did that and I had an attorney, but I didn't even get what I wanted. I don't know how that happened. Well, that happens often because they don't know what they want sometimes, or they're asking for things they can't have, but they don't know that. So we help the attorneys do their work a little bit more efficiently. And then on the other side, there are a lot of people that don't utilize attorneys for a variety of reasons. Sometimes you can just go present yourself, you can present something, and sometimes people don't get what they want or need because they don't think they can. So what we do is we work a lot with Women's Information Center, Center for Hope and Safety, Women in Transition in Passaic County. Because we don't litigate, because we're not attorneys, we can go anywhere. So we actually have some clients in Georgia and Ohio, thank God for the internet, because we can do that. We can work through, because the process looks the same everywhere, it's just the forms that look different. So we help people really understand, and when there's victims of domestic violence, one of the reasons why there's purple in the logo is after they have a restraining order put in order, there's still a lot of other steps that need to be taken care of. And if they're utilizing alternatives to domestic violence or an agency, once the restraining order is done, they have to back away because they're no longer funded to help with anything other than the domestic violence part. So now they're still a little fragile, they're still a little nervous, they're scared, and they don't want to go and pursue what they need. So we will help them. We do court accompaniment. We are not a not-for-profit yet. We're actually doing an arm that's going to be a different name also. So Family Court GPS is a for-profit, but we also have a sliding scale. Like I said, we work with Center for Hope and Safety, Women in Transition and everything. So we respect the fact that people are coming from all different places with all different needs. And when our not-for-profit is 501 done, and we're hoping that'll be by the end of the year, so for 2020, what that organization will do, it's called Voices of Wisdom, is we have a lot of fabulous organizations helping in crisis. But how to get from crisis to independence, there's this vast abyss. So there's the transition piece, and the legal part is a big part of that transition piece. So we sort of discovered that along the way, because the legal piece was keeping people from their independence, because they were so stuck in this vacuum and getting very frustrated and getting lost, and then they would just give up. So we just had our grand opening of our first office in Glen Rock 2 weeks ago on Broad Street, so we're very excited about that. Now we have a home base, because prior to that we were meeting people at any Panera nearby, because there's Wi-Fi there. And actually the trunk of my car just wasn't big enough for all my files, so we needed a place to call home. So we're very excited about that. I'd love for anybody to come, give us a call, come over, have coffee, because the other piece that we're doing is we're building a referral network, because we deal a lot with divorce, non-marrieds with children that split up. Lots of different arenas are in family court. So when there's a separation like that, one person gets the accountant, one person gets the financial planner, one person gets the exterminator, whatever, and one person is left with nothing. And we're not going to the yellow pages anymore, so we need a strong referral system. So we found that people ask us, because once they kind of work with us, they trust us, because they're trusting us with a lot of their future. So we want to be able to give them names of people. They don't have to use them, but I want to be able to say, these are vetted out people that we know how they work, we know who they are, and here's our list. And you know, you can do with it what you want, but it is helpful, because if anybody has ever had to look for someone of a profession, where do you go? So we want to be able to do that as well. So that's who we are. If there's any questions?
I'm going to ask you, what staff do you have, and what kind of background do they have? Are they social workers? Are they volunteers?
Okay, so we have one attorney who doesn't work as an attorney for us, but she helps us with attorney review to help make sure that we're sending people in the right place, or if something has been forgotten. We have 2 social workers and we have 2 volunteers. So we have a lot of intake that needs to be done. And again, you know, like with anything, every case is different. Everybody comes from a different place. So we try to get, it's really about empowerment, education, and organization. Those are the 3 key components that we really work with people on, because when you're in this confusion and this chaos, people really are chasing their tails, and we've gotten really to understand how to get people on track and how to start, because nobody knows where to start. And you know, we can work with people for 2 hours or 2 years, and we've had that depending on what they've got going on. So that was a great question. Thank you.
Are your services provided on a fee-based basis, and are they on a sliding scale based on ability to pay?
Yes, they're on a sliding scale, because, like I had mentioned, with working within Center for Hope and Safety, Women's Information Center, all those different places, there's a need for this information regardless of your financial situation. So we definitely have a sliding scale. We have a financial intake that we do. They pretty much come in and tell us, or the agency will call us and say, this person is coming, and they'll give us a little background, because you know, people don't know what to say or how to say it. So it's helpful when we know. But yes, we are fee-based, and we are on a sliding scale.
So Kimberly, you've been open and running, but you're just forming as a 501?
Yes.
Okay.
We're working on the paper. It's actually at my accountant right now, and we're pretty sure we're going to be rocketing it off.
And how long have you been operating?
We've been operating for 5 years.
Okay.
So, and it sort of was the best kept secret, I guess, and the more people that started to find out through networking, you know, it was really important, and people were really starting to come and send us people, because we do what lawyers don't have time to do. Sorry. So we help people, you know, the lawyers look at it as sort of minutia, but it's really important. It's really a key. And then when you're pro se, when you're representing yourself, it's just daunting, because you don't know the rules, you don't know the language, you know. So one of the things that we're very strong about and very passionate about is you know, you're allowed to represent yourself, you're allowed to do those things, but the system is a little frightening and it's a lot confusing. So, and also part of the reason why they don't respect pro se litigants is because nobody's coaching them through it. So we help present respectable pro se litigants so they can be, you know, an admirable litigant for themselves, because you can do that. You just have to find out how. Yes.
So what was your impetus to get involved in this?
Well, so I got divorced twice because once wasn't enough. I make sure I had it right. And
The same guy?
no, I found 2 of them. It was great. And I was pro se both times, and it was not fun. I have 3 children, 2 from the first and 1 from the second, and they were really formidable adversaries, and they had attorneys, and they fought a little dirty, so I learned a lot. And you know, going through it, it was awful. It was the darkest days of my life, but I wouldn't change a thing because I get to help people through those dark days now. I get to be that hope, because guess what? I was homeless with 3 kids. And I get to tell my clients that, guess what? This is temporary. You're not gonna live here, okay? You're gonna get past this, and when you do, you make it what you're gonna make it.
Just a follow-up question. I mean, well, thank you for sharing that. But I would imagine that most people are going to be financially challenged to be able to afford a lawyer, given how, 1, how expensive they are, and 2, when you're dividing whatever asset you have, a lot of times it's not equal. So, do you work with lawyers that will then have a sliding scale, as Evan asked about, who can help with that? Because I would think that a majority of people are going to be in your position.
That's a great question, and that's a piece that we just started doing, actually. We have 3 attorneys that we work with very closely, and what they do is litigate only, which means instead of 50 hours at a lawyer's fee, you're getting 10 hours, and the other 80% of that paperwork, we're helping you do it. We don't give legal advice. So when you go through the process, it's a lot of writing, and it's a lot of organizing papers, and it's timelines, and there's all these really important things that you miss it by a day, they throw you out. And that's really critical sometimes, depending on what it is they're throwing out. And and especially when there's another attorney on the other side, when your adversary has got an attorney representing them, it's really daunting. And my biggest problem is, I want to go and be on the bench. I want to be up there, because I know my clients sometimes can't speak for themselves. I know they get nervous. So we just kind of build them up and remind them what they're doing and what they're there for. And you know, because of that challenge, we've worked with a few people that understand that with some attorneys, and they're great attorneys, you know. And our clients don't always need to, obviously, they don't need to use our referrals. But it's amazing too what happens when people are in this situation and they come in, and they always come in and say, we have no money. But what happens is when they realize, and their support system realizes, the value of what we're doing, we end up with a lot of families supporting the litigant. So the financial piece comes in, but what we also do is we'll talk to them. We bring them all in. We say, listen, we're going to be a team. Because a lot of times, too, we have armchair attorneys.
He's trying to move my chair. I was trying to move away from Tom. Keep going, I'm sorry.
That's a first.
He was blown away by you.
It wasn't on film. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
So when you're in a process, any kind of process, you get armchair attorneys, we got armchair quarterbacks.
That's what I needed, an armchair.
Yeah, we'll get you one of those next time. So we bring people in and help them understand what the process looks like too, and they're welcome to call if they have questions. And in some situations, sometimes the support system can be a little bit adversarial, so we'll ask them to sort of bounce things off of us first. Yes.
Yeah, I went through it myself. With the trend towards mediation, is that helping both sides? Less of a tax and less of pain for the kids and the families?
Absolutely. And the court system is actually enforcing mediation. I'm a mediator, and I have 2 mediators in my group, because sometimes if I touch one part of it, I can no longer be a mediator. So I can now hand it off to one of my mediators if they want. And we have both the financial side and all the other. Because there's 2 lanes in mediation. There's financials, which I was an English major, that is not my lane. And so I do I work with the parenting time, I start equitable distribution, I just start basic, okay, what are we doing here? Okay, are we gonna, take the gloves off and play nice? And if not, I kind of help work them through it, and if we can't get there, we can't get there. But then they'll go to court, and the judge will order mediation. And then that's harder, because then you get stuck in a room and you got 3 hours to do it.
It's interesting, I won't take too much time, but I went through it, and you learn looking back on it. Now, my attorney, no names necessary, I wanted the mediation, okay? Believe it or not, he said, there's no way they're gonna agree on anything, let's file. So what that meant was, his paycheck kept on going, and I could go to court. If he was a mediator, I can't bring myself to court, it's over with. I can't do attorney. So looking back on it, you have to go to the right mediator that really wants to mediate. Doesn't,
And no, that's okay, but no, you're bringing up great points, because also there are mediator-friendly attorneys and not, because the mediator-friendly attorneys, when we get done doing an MOU, a memorandum of understanding, which is what you've agreed on, we always say, okay, go have an attorney and an accountant look at this, because these are really important things. So if they take it to a mediator-friendly attorney, you usually get the thumbs up, a couple of things fixed. If it's a mediator not friendly, they pull the whole thing apart because they want that paycheck. They're like, nope, this isn't gonna work, and then they start friction all over again, and it's almost like it gets redone. So, yeah, so that's a great question, and it's a great point. But that's why we have mediators in our group, because we also do mock mediation. We help them understand how to get through mediation. And sometimes, when we get near the end, they'll bring in the other party, the X to B, and we'll do a mock mediation. Like, this isn't binding, but hey, did you think about this? We're not gonna do an MOU, but hey, did you consider this? So, that's who we are. Okay, so.
One more question?
Okay.
Yeah, I do. So, once a divorce decree is final, do you still represent them? Because what I hear is you have children, divorce never ends.
Post-judgment litigation happens all the time. It happens less when you have a mediator, 75% less they've come up with. It's amazing. Because when you have a mediator, you take some of those things into consideration. But post-judgment litigation, and post-judgment litigation for a variety of reasons. There's a lot of different things. Sometimes the lawyers kind of leave these gaps because they think, oh, you're gonna have to come back to me for that. And they sort of do it on purpose, maybe, maybe not. But if you have any other questions, all my contact information, that's my name on the front little sticker. I'm Kimberly Johnston, and we're right in Glen Rock. And I would love to see every one of you, and I would love to see how I can work with you and get you in, because one of the things we want to do is empower people through education. So, yeah.
One last question.
what's your address in Glen Rock?
In Glen Rock is 536 Broad Street. Yeah, it's not on there because we just got it, so I don't have new literature. But it's 536 Broad Street, right by Volt Fitness. We kind of share their parking lot. So that's where we are.
Okay.
Thank you so much.